Deze video is mede mogelijk gemaakt door Global Joy Media Groep.
Now what you also got to ask yourself is the left-hand side, over here. So how do I do that over there? So what are the key resources that I need to do that over there? Do I need factories? Do I need a printing press if I'm a publisher? Do I need airplanes if I'm an airline company or not? What are the core assets that I need to do that over there? And more you marketers need to see this holistic picture as well. You can't just stay on that side, but you need to know the implications on the left-hand side. So the next step is, well, what are the key activities? What do I really do? Do I do marketing? Do I create a brand? Or do I just program? Do I just deliver? What are the core things that I need to do, the key activities? What is it that I do as an organization day in, day out? And then since we're in the 21st century, obviously we're going to work with partners, so we're not going to do everything ourselves, right? And if we know this over here, well, very quickly we know the cost structures. What does it cost us to do that? So here you have a concept. Let's turn this into a tool. Because remember at the beginning I said we didn't just want to write a book, we wanted to create a tool that people can use in business. That's for marketers, that's for technologists, that's for IT people, finance people, okay? So we turn it into a tool, which is simply a little structure where you can start drawing or putting up post-its with the elements of your business model. So you ask yourself, let's say you're a marketer, you ask yourself, well, okay, I'm Apple. Apple decided around the year 2000 to add retail stores. That's a marketing decision. And that would happen over here in the channels. But what are the implications for the value proposition? What are the implications for the key resources, and what does that mean for activities, and what does it mean for costs? So increasingly, the decisions that you make on this side in marketing, you cannot disconnect them from this side. So everybody in an organization, everybody from A to Z needs to know what business models are about. If you don't know, you won't be able to play the game how you should play the game, okay? So let's move on. So I'm not going to go into an example because we're going to talk about the book story. So what happened with the blog that I was writing, more and more companies started to use this approach, but it was very bottom up. So you had people at IBM, they thought, oh, this is great. They were using it. Some of you might walk out of the room, you might start using it. So it's very bottom up. And that happened through my blog. Okay? People found it through Google and so on. But remember, we wanted to scale up. We wanted to create a bestseller. We wanted to compete against those big marketing gurus like Tom Peters, Seth Godin if you take marketing. We wanted to compete against them and write a bestseller. How do you do that as a no-name? So, what we did is we listened to people to understand what they thought about business and management books. So my question to you is after, well, this is Ted. What does he think about management books? What do you think about management books? What do you like or you dislike about management books or marketing books? Microphone? Anybody want to say what they dislike about management and marketing books? Or do you love them the way they are today? Who loves marketing and management books the way they are today? Who actually reads them? Who has read a full marketing or management book in the last 3 months? A full, from cover to cover. See? 20 pages over here. Right. Well, we looked at what was wrong. There's some good stuff, obviously. I love management and marketing books, but there's some bad stuff. Basically, the first 20 pages or 40 pages is what you want to read. The rest is blah blah. Okay? Who would agree with that? Wow. See? Point proven. Second point is, some of it is really lightweight. As a manager, as a marketer, say, well, that's obvious, that's trivial. How's it going to help me? Next point, well, a lot of it is theoretical. You might get statistics, but how do I apply it on Monday morning? How do I use that stuff? And then, very much text. Very, very much text. Maybe in some marketing books you go more towards visuals. So you get all that stuff. And we said, we do not want to write a book like that. Because as a book buyer, I hate that, right? So why are marketers doing a bad job and not getting their publishers to change their books? So we thought we'll do a very visual book. So we'll differentiate. I'm good at differentiation because I'm wearing a tie today, which is basically something you wouldn't do with marketers because nobody's going to wear a tie. But what we did is we did a very visual book. So I don't know if this comes over. We wanted to create emotions. So if you connect back to what was said before by Dan, we wanted to create emotions, but not just in the advertising, but in the product. So we wanted to tell stories in the book. We wanted to get people to think simply by using images, because that's what we connect to. We talked about design, because that's what people care about nowadays. We made the book visual, we put stories in them, and we told stories that people could relate to. And we put tools in there that people can immediately apply, like the business model canvas that I showed you, right? Now, what was our inspiration? Our inspiration was not to do something differently, but to create this Apple experience where you unbox, where people really want to get something. They're passionate about a product. Can you be passionate about a management or business book? What do you think? Is that possible? Well, it is, but you need to be very different. And that's what we tried to do. And I think we succeeded partially in that, and that's why the book is selling very well and why there's actually a Dutch translation that's coming out today. Great. So much to advertising and marketing. See? Selling doesn't work. But what was different, what we did in addition to the product differentiation, and this is where you should listen, is that we changed the business model. We didn't just write and sell a visual book with images inside and tools. We changed the business model because we knew that the product itself can be as good as it wants to be, or as good as it could be, but as a no-name, you need to change the business model to scale up, to reach people. So what did we do differently? We changed the way we thought publishing should look. So the typical publishing process looks like this, for those of you who don't know how it looks. Well, somebody writes a book, brings it to the mailbox. It's not far from reality, right? Then the publisher reads it, gets bored because he has a lot of other books. So if he reads it, but if you get through this gateway, so this guy decides if a book is going to get to the market or not the readers. Well, if it gets through this gateway, it gets into a huge printing press, and then maybe it gets into stores, right? That's the old school model. But that is changing. So we thought that's boring, it's risky, and it wouldn't work for us. No-name authors with zero marketing budget wouldn't be able to get into Harvard Business School press, which you need to do if you want to compete at the top, right? So what did we do? What did we do differently? We said, we need a story. If we want to write about business model innovation, we need to do it with a different business model. A, for the story, and B, because otherwise we couldn't scale up. So what did we do? Buzz Group, I'd like to know from you, if you were in that situation, you want to write a book, nobody knows you, you have zero marketing budget, how do you write a bestseller? How do you create a bestseller? And since you're marketers, you should have some ideas on that. So I'm testing how good Dutch marketers are. I'll give you 1 minute to do that, okay? How should we create a bestseller with those conditions? 1 minute. Discuss with your neighbor, okay? Let's go. I want to see what your ideas are. Okay, any ideas? Who wants to be the Dutch marketer of the year? Any ideas? What should we do?